Well, hello, everyone. I'm Fran Strickland with Verily Biz Solutions, and you are now with Tapped In with Verily Biz Solutions. And today I'm with the lovely Beate Rotthäuser, who is a coach. She has the business of Empower Unleashed, and she is making a huge difference for women who are in search of growth and well being. So today she's going to give us tremendous insight in how she does that. And we expect that when you leave this conversation, you are going to be inspired. Biet, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Thank you, first of all, for the invitation. It is really nice to be here and talk a little bit about my business. I'm really excited today for this call. And I launched my website today, so I have a lot to celebrate. So this is a great day.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? Being visible is a huge part of being impactful, and that you're launching your website. I celebrate with you. I've gone that journey, and now I'm about to start on my second iteration of my website. So I know what it takes to do that, and I'm really, really excited for you.
Yeah, so am I. And yes, it was I had a guy doing the background, but of course the content is from myself. So it was really interesting to, yeah, what do I want to have on the website? How do I like to present myself? So I used not, let me say, the professional pictures. I use my natural pictures. I also use for my content on LinkedIn. So with nature, mountains, yeah, this is where I am when I'm not at my desk.
So now we're both here in Switzerland, right?
I'm in Germany.
You're in Germany. That's right. You're in Germany. I'm in Switzerland, but everybody, my dear audience, we are like right next door,
Yeah.
and that's really neat. Germany is a beautiful country, and it's you can't see, but right behind me is the Matterhorn, and so. Oh, what happened with Viet and I? We met online and we connected over the terrain, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's only the Alps between us.
That's right. Only the Alps, only the Alps. So you have to love that beautiful mountain terrain, and it's really nice to be here with a fellow European and to spend this time with you today. So Beat, let's get started so that you'll have a chance to tell us all of the things that you want to share with us today,
Okay.
okay? So I made a few questions. So I promise you, I'm not going to make them really tough because it's all about you. This is the chance for us to hear about you and to really, get a good feeling of what you do and the difference that you make. So I'd like you to start out by just telling us what is it you do and for whom.
So thank you. I just want to pronounce say my name one time in the correct pronunciation,
Oh,
if I'm allowed
excuse-moi.
to.
That désolé. Okay.
Because I know it's difficult for foreign people to pronounce my name correctly. I learn everyone my name pronouncing correctly. It's Beate. So I'm
Beata. Okay.
Beate,
Okay.
and I'm an expert for authentic communication and confidence. So my job, or what I do, is I support women to communicate more clearly without over explaining. So you say no without over explaining and giving 100 reasons why you say no. Also, how you can set boundaries without feeling guilty. So I know this from my experience, how difficult it is to say no, for example, and stick to the no, but that you don't feel guilty when it comes in your job life. Maybe if you have topic with your boss and you want him to respect your boundaries, or is it in your family life? And I also help women to gain more self-confidence so that you stand up for yourself, because no one else will do. I learned this.
So Beata, and I'll also tell my audience is that one of the things that is evident is to be able to speak up and to do it without feeling guilty, because so many times we'll just swallow something that we're not comfortable with.
Yeah,
And that's really not the way life should be, nor does it serve us. And I don't like the word should, but the reality is pushing down our feelings and emotions out of fear or some long term way of being robs us of a quality of life. And is it true, or have you found that this seems to be a challenge for women more so than men?
okay, this it showing our feelings, or really stand behind our feelings, I realized this in both. So you can't say it's women, let me say, a women issue only. Of course, if you show your feelings, like let me say you are sad and show someone, you make yourself weak in a way, but I don't think it is that we should see it like that. Because if I keep going with that feeling the whole day, not talking to the other person, maybe why I'm sad about something he or she said, um, it causes internal tension, and I take it with me the whole day or the next week. So it's very important for me that um, I show the courage and say, okay, I feel sad about what you have said, that the other person learns, okay, or hears about that, and next time can react in a different way. So of course, I normally talk with women, but I also hear talking men about that topic, because it's how we raised. So if you are raised with parents that allow you to show your feelings, it's a different story than if you have parents who say, oh, yeah, you are a boy, don't be sad, the boys don't cry, or something like that. So if you hear that all the time, it also is applicable for men, of course. So no general rule here.
And that's so important. And thank you for taking the time to explain that, because so many times what we hear is, oh, that is more gender related, and so women versus men, or men versus women, that's kind of their thing. But the reality is the ability to express oneself, to own one's feelings, to develop the capability to speak up in a way that is unique and in your own voice is key. And it has nothing to do with gender. Anybody can find themselves in that situation. So thank you so much for adding that flavor to our conversation today. So now I want to know, how is it that you decided to step into this kind of work for your business?
Of course, as you can guess, it was not a decision I took one day and the next I started my own business. So I worked nearly 20 years as a sales admin, also in different roles. One role was also on management level. And I was the woman, I think some of you can relate to that, the woman who did everything. So when a sales guy came in the evening and said, Beate, can you do that? I did that. When a colleague asked me to do a favor, I did that favor, even if I wanted to leave. So everyone kept telling me I was good in my job. The customers liked how I worked because I was fast. I gave reply on short notice, took care of everything, let me say. And yeah, I felt I do not belong. I switched my positions regularly, let me say.
Mhm.
And yeah, I felt empty. So I was asking myself, is it all? And beginning of last year, I decided to do a coaching because another time the question came up, can I resign again? And I
Wow.
started the coaching. And during the coaching, I realized, okay, I'm not ready to go for my own business. I want to switch my job. And after 2 weeks in my new job, I have to admit, I realized, okay, this was not a good choice. And I started to looking for a mentor. And in November last year, I started to work with a mentor, and we worked on my positioning, what I can do, what are my strengths, a lot of mindset topic. And with this lady, let me say, I started to grow my own business. And in January this year, I started working with test clients. Yeah, and in July, I established my own business, and here I am.
Fantastic. Now, there, this, my platform is all about helping people realize um, growth and success, both professionally as well as personally. And hence, this is the very reason why we have people like Beate, and we'll have some other very interesting guests too. Kind of a holistic view to the entrepreneur, CXOs, owners, to their lives, so that they can just have a better quality of life. So as I listen to you talk about how you got to where you are, I hear that there was a little bit of people pleasing, and that probably you really did enjoy the accolades for the work that you did. The people liked the fact that you were like always there and available to support their mission and journey.
Yeah.
But you also said something very interesting about feeling empty and feeling like not part of. Tell me a little bit of is that kind of a normal feeling that one develops when you're in this space of maybe people pleasing, or not owning your feelings? Please tell me a little bit more about that.
Okay, I can. This is something I think I can talk from my own perspective, and I would say so, because if you do people pleasing, you are not as self-confident as you could be, let me say. So you do everything for other people, yeah, to please them. So for my motivation was I wanted to belong, because when I was a child, I never felt I belonged. There was bunch of children who played together. I was not part of this. And then over time, I learned, okay, if I do what the others want to, I belong. So this is where people pleasing started, and yeah, it's not that it was possible to stand behind what I really want. So I never really learned that it is okay to be different. You don't have to belong. It's not important that you do what the others want to. And this, I think it's in a lot of women, this pattern is in a lot of women. We learn that in when we are children, we learn that we should be quiet, that a lady is doing something in the household, for example, is helping her grandparents or mother, and is taking care maybe of their of her siblings. So I think we learned that from the early age. Of course, it's also not in every in every family, but a lot learn this. And I also talk with different cultures, and I learn that even I'm from Germany, a lot of raised like this. Of course, in some countries where men are more on the top of the period, let me say, it's even more in the women than in countries where women can do what they want to officially, let me say.
Hmm. So what I'm hearing is some of it is really socially different. It's socialization
Yeah,
that happens. It can be, it definitely can be this, the way someone is brought up, um, but it also can be societal, where very what I call hardline gender roles
yeah.
are defined, and people not allowed to work outside of them. So now tell me, when you encounter someone, someone comes to you and they say, "Look, I'm not, I'm not having any fun." And I remember I went through this myself when I actually said to a coach, "I'm not having any fun." Someone comes to you. Where do you start with that person and helping them
Um,
to start that journey?
when I don't know the person, so I have a bunch of questions. So for the beginning, because it's really important to get the other person, to get her or him, if it is a him, to get the other person to know. So I ask a lot of questions to find out, where do you have issues, in which situations, maybe is it more in your business life or in your private life, which situations causes stress, for example. And then based on that information, I work on the topic the women want to work on. So I say it's not a one fits all solution I offer, because everyone is different, everyone brings a different background with herself. And so maybe we found out she cannot stand up for herself in business life, so we work on specific situation. We start with small steps, because this is really important to start small. It's not that you go to your boss and tell him I need more money, so you start.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, you can. Of course, if the women want to earn more money, we work on that. But we start with small steps. So maybe say to a colleague, no, if this is also an issue that you don't feel comfortable saying colleagues, no. If they come to you and say, Francis, can you do that for me? And you said every time you said yes, then we really work on this at first. And then we start step by step building more confidence, and we learn. I give the ladies some tasks based on the issues we found out, and we really work together on what or the women wants to achieve.
Okay. Something came to mind, so I have to ask this question.
Yeah, please.
So, as you were talking and you were saying that, you start in small steps, which is very important. Don't overload, overwhelm your client, and that clearly you're partnering with them, so you're asking what they want to work on, and you give them some homework. You give them some things to do.
Yeah.
I would like to know what has been your most surprising experience when someone that you're working with has taken your advice and starts to apply the changes that she's learned. What happened? What kind of information did you get back from them about the experience of showing up differently for themselves?
Okay, so I have one story immediately came to my mind. I had a client. She has a farmer I'm missing the English word now. A pharmacy. Is it a pharmacy?
A pharmacy, yes.
A
Pharmaceutical,
she,
yeah. Is she a
yeah.
pharmacist?
And she had a important meeting with one of her team members, and she came to me, and she feared that the lady will resign. Okay, her fear was that the lady will resign in this meeting because they had a really big conflict before that meeting. And she asked me, okay, Beate, what should I do? I will go into the meeting and say, hello, Mrs. XY, nice that we are sitting here and we talk about that topic. And I said to her, do you really want to start the conversation with, it's nice that we are meeting today? And she said, and I asked her, how do you feel? How do you really feel? Do you feel happy about that conversation? And she said, no, I'm nervous about that conversation. I fear that she might resign. And I said, okay, so why don't you start the conversation with, I'm nervous or I fear? And she said, okay, I don't want to say that with fear, but I can start the conversation with, okay, I'm nervous about the conversation because of this and that. And then we also worked on the topic she wanted to talk about, because she also feared that the lady will take over the speaking role in the meeting. And we really worked on that. And we did the conversation. She took notes. And then the next day she had the conversation. And I was also really excited what will happening. And in the evening, she wrote me an email like that. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I did as you told me. Okay, I don't tell the women. I have to say that I ask questions and it's your decision. So I don't say do this and that. I support you to show you a way how you can do it differently. And she said, I'm so happy that I started the conversation with, I'm nervous, because the lady immediately realized, okay, she is honest and it's not let me say a fake conversation, and we are doing everything is fine, and in the end both are not happy with it. And the lady stayed at the pharmacy, and they also talked about what to improve in the future, and this made me really proud.
Wow. That's a fantastic story. And to my audience, and I'll tell you why. First of all, there's this principle in coaching is that, the coach doesn't have the answers. The client has the answers, and we help them find those answers and bring them to the surface and help them bring out who whom they are. And what's really so interesting about what you said, Beate, I mean, the whole conversation is intriguing, is that one of the things that you most definitely did was help her be her authentic self. And the story shows how, particularly leaders, when we can be, well, not just leaders but anybody, when we can be our authentic selves, it empowers other people to be authentic as well. It seems to just open up communication just much more effectively.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're coming down. You see how quickly the conversation goes? You're thinking, "Oh my, I can't talk for 30 minutes," but we definitely can. We can talk for hours. We won't have any audience, but we can talk for hours. So, I'd like for you as we wrap up, to do two things. But the first one is, I'd like for you to share with the audience, in what ways has this journey transform the way you relate to the world?
The most important thing what I have learned during the time is that really my needs matter, and it is totally okay to cancel appointments if I feel if I wake up in the morning and I feel I can't do it in the evening because I want to read my book, for example. I cancel the appointment and say truly I cancel the appointment because I want to be for myself in the afternoon, and not saying I have a headache, as I guess much of you do. um, I'm also much more self-aware, so I reflect a lot. If I have, of course, I also struggle with a lot of topics, but afterwards I reflect, what can I do better next time, or how do I want to behave in if I have a next conversation like this. I also learned, because I was a woman who suppressed her feelings, it's okay to have feelings. They tell us something. If it's good or bad, it's depending, and you can change something. So it's really important. We can change something every time it's possible. And I think all other things are excuses, let me say. And it's also to be really authentic, because some people will go if you say stay authentic to yourself. Not everyone understands what my business is. I have a post about that soon. But they don't understand why I'm doing this now. There are so many coaches around. Why do you do that? And so on. And but I really want, it's, yeah, I learned that during the time. It gives me so much energy to talk with women, to help them grow, and I grow myself every day through this. And I also want to lead. I realized I want to lead by example. So I don't belong. I still don't belong. So I live in a small village, and I still don't belong to the village life. So, and it's okay. I learned that it's okay. I don't belong. Okay, I'm different. But it's fine to be different.
Beate, as you were talking, I hear so much of my journey and what you've shared. I think that sometimes when we have kind of a purpose or a calling, it puts us in a position that we feel like that we are separate from, and we can be in a group and we still feel separate from. And I would like you to know that you definitely belong, because if not anything else, you belong to me, because we're quite similar. Okay, so you are part of a group, and I'm sure it's many other people who are similar to us, who are in basically healing. I mean, people say, how can you say that you're into healing with a business? Believe me, that a business is a living entity, because it has human beings in there, and that energy really transforms the experience of being in business. And you are taking it right to the source, to the individual, helping them to discover who they are, embracing who they are, and feeling extremely comfortable letting who they are be seen outside of themselves, and really actually to be seen by themselves, because
Yeah.
many times people shut that down. It's like looking in the mirror with a cloth over it, and saying, okay, that's me, but no, you really can't see yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I met a lot of people on LinkedIn where I know I belong, and I'm really grateful for every connection I gain from this community. But uh, but there are other parts in my life where I don't belong, but that's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? With that, actually, when you talked about LinkedIn, it's a nice segue for us as we close out, for you to share with the audience, how can they reach you if they would like to spend some time with you, to tap into your services? How is the best way for them to reach you. And by the way, this will be put in the comments section so that people will be able to get it to recover them later. Okay, please.
So I would say if you're on LinkedIn, the easiest way is drop me a DM or send me a connection request. That's the easiest way. It's also possible to book a 30-minute conversation with me. It's on my LinkedIn profile and also on my website. And on the website, you can also find a link to my newsletter. So if you want to start on a light way, you can follow my content, whatever you want. And I promise, if you book a 3-minute session with me to get to know me a little bit better and I get to know you, I don't pitch even, or I don't pitch in that conversation, only when you ask me to pitch. So it's really, for me, it's really great to talk to a lot of women, and this is a great way. So feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Super. So everyone, please, Beate is right there. We connected the same way on LinkedIn, uh, and I can testify to the fact you do not get pitched. She is into adding value for the experience, and I mean fundamentally, this is what is so important in those kinds of conversations. You'll get a chance to just speak with her, see who she is. And then when you ask, she's happy to share. Again, this is Beate Rotthäuser. She is the owner, founder of this fantastic Empower Unleashed. I mean, I can tell you just from this conversation, she's making a great impact. And I encourage you, if there's any hint that you just may not be living your best life because you're people pleasing or you're not owning how you're feeling or not showing up for you, Beate is a person you want to talk to. So, Beate, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I wish you the very best in your business, and let's stay connected. And for now, folks, that's it. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you for having me.